All right, what's good, guys? Live reaction. Still at the stadium, as you can see. Been listening to the press conferences, kind of gathering my thoughts, I don't know, just kind of replaying that game over in my head and just trying to think about where it went wrong. And, obviously we understand what losses are about. It's who's at fault, why did this happen? And, I think there's a lot of blame to go around, if we're being honest. I really do think that with this game and how the 49ers lost it, the setup, the beginning of it, probably uh, probably couldn't have gone any better, I would say. When you talk about the defense, getting Patrick Mahomes off the field, stealing some possessions away, putting the ball early in the offense's hands. But man, the offense just really struggled to get anything going and taking advantage of those opportunities. And that they just weren't able to get it done. And it's tough, man. It's a tough loss. I would say that's up there with the worst loss of the year. Just how they lost. And there's been some bad ones this season. So when you're looking at this game and you're looking at, all right, where's the problem at? Like, I, it, I'm looking at it as an identity thing. You know what I mean? I think we've been talking about identity for this team for a long time, and at least for this season. And there's just a lot of things going that just feel off about the team. Obviously, you had some injuries. Let's talk about that. Debo Samuel definitely ill, not feeling well. He wasn't able to finish the game. You could see he was really going through it at the beginning of that one. But also on top of that, Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers fear he has a torn ACL. So Brandon Ayuk's season is probably done for the year, and just a brutal situation. And again, it's like butterfly effect, right? You go when the team loses, you go back and you comb through why they lost, right? And you comb through and you think about all the what ifs and could haves and should haves. And man, this is a tough one, man. Because I was talking about it in my instant reaction video. When we've been talking about identity, it feels like the 49ers current identity is woulda, coulda, shoulda. Should have beat the Rams, could have beat Arizona, would have beat the Chiefs if their offense was working properly, and if they were they didn't look so disjointed. I get it. You're down Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason's been playing his ass off. It wasn't Purdy's best game for sure, and there's I need to go back and watch the tape to really give a full analysis of it, because although I don't think Purdy played well, I've seen a lot of hyperbolic conversation and evaluation, and obviously looking into next season. Like, I'm just trying to analyze the loss for what it is. Trying to analyze the loss for the 60 minutes of football we just watched. I'm not going to make any sweeping statements or judgments off of one game in the middle of the season. Granted, a lot of PTSD involved with that. I get it. It's the Chiefs. 49ers are now 0-5 against the Chiefs under the Kyle Shanahan era. And they feel like the boogeyman. You know what I mean? That they feel like they just have this superior complex over this team right now. And that's not a good spot to be in as a team. It's not a good spot to be as a head coach. It's not a good spot to be, as an organization. So this one, I felt like you had to have it. I felt like you had to win this one for a lot of different reasons. But and again, what I think is most difficult and what's most challenging about this loss is, even with not taking advantage of the opportunities early on, they still cut it close. They still cut it within two. And then you think about the missed PAT that changed that complexion of the game later on from a one possession game to a two possession game. And it's just like, man, like when it rains, it pours. And that was just, I think Kyle Shanahan said it best. He's like, we got our ass kicked. And I agree. Not only do I think the 49ers got their ass kicked, I think they kicked their own ass. Like that scene from Liar Liar when he's in the bathroom and Jim Carrey is like, trying to beat himself up. And, you know, the guy comes into the bathroom and he like looks at him. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm beating my own ass. Do you mind? Like that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like the 49ers were like, which ways can we, not execute? Which way can we not, um, you know, take advantage of this opportunity? And that's when we talk about identity. That's when we talk about um, to how these games are going. It just feels like, I don't know, man. It just came to my brain. It just came to my mind. If it's a stupid reference, it's a stupid reference. I get it. Um, but the point being is the 49ers are still their own worst enemy. If we're talking about this loss, the 49ers scrapping and clawing and doing everything they can to put themselves in a position to get this dub, we're having a different conversation. We would be talking about, yeah, man, this loss sucks, but they showed some promise. Even with the little promise that they showed, it's not enough to really take any moral victories from this. There's I don't think there's really any moral victories you can take from this game. Um, it's tough, man. Tough one. So, like I said, I gotta watch the tape back. I gotta get into the film. Seen a lot of people ultra critical of Purdue, which I expect. You're the quarterback of the team. You don't play well. You throw interceptions, throwing into double coverage, getting balls tipped at the line of scrimmage, all the things that, fans, are worried about obviously come to a head in this type of game that already has so many, past emotions being brought into it. So I got to see. I watched it from the stands, so I need to get into the tape and really be able to like understand it. Obviously, I didn't see like all the replays that you guys saw, and so I need to watch the tape to have a better, I think, evaluation of how Brock played. But I think we can all agree that definitely wasn't Brock's best game. Wasn't a good game. He talked about it after, saying he needs to play better. Um, and again, no excuses either. No excuses, man. It's just that's one that you feel sick about. Um, what happened to Flomentum? So I put my hair up at halftime because first of all, I was baking out in the sun and things weren't going our way. So I'm like, let's switch it up. Let's put the hair up. And when I put the hair up, 49ers came out on fire, cut the lead close. I'm like, all right, we're going to keep the hair up. So I guess Flomentum couldn't save the 49ers today, which is a brutal, brutal one. We did everything we could. We tried our best. Unfortunately, it's not how, it's just how the cookie crumbles, right? So tough loss. No way, just like Kyle said, no way to sugarcoat it. Um, Again, I'm not going to be hyperbolic, and scream from the rooftops that everyone needs to be fired and we need to cut everyone and we need to trade everyone. I think the Brandon Ayuk situation does um, add an interesting element to the 49ers because if he's done for the year and Debo Samuel, like when he's on, he plays phenomenally well, but he's often injured. Um, And so the 49ers might need to be looking for wide receivers that they could trade for. And because although they are, 3-4, there's still an opportunity to get into the playoffs. The 49ers are obviously making it a lot harder on themselves, but there's still an opportunity to get into the playoffs. And obviously, you need more weapons. Um, I've tried my hardest to Ronnie. I'm not trying to be again hyperbolic about one or two plays another way, but man, when you see um, what appears to be Ronnie Bell and Brock Purdy not being on the same page, and you just get an absolutely crucial interception in a moment where you had the momentum. You had it. You had it in your hands. You score a touchdown. You take the lead. You got the momentum. You were able to steal the game back. And they didn't. They gave it up. They gave it up in the worst times. The interception in the red zone, there to get while he's getting hit, throwing into double coverage. So just bad. It was a bad one. There's no way. There's no way to shake it any other way. Just a cruddy performance with I think a Chiefs team that you could have had. That again, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the coulda, shoulda, woulda. That I think that's what's bothering me the most about this season so far is woulda, coulda, shoulda. Those ones eat at you. I know they eat at you as fans, but I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of those players in the locker room, of the coaches, and just we had it. We had the opportunities. We put ourselves in a position to make plays, and we didn't. And we lost the game. That's the hardest part. They lost the game. They didn't. Yes, the you got to give credit to the Chiefs. Defensively played well. Offensively, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. They had good plays. They made plays when it mattered most. But at the end of the day, I still look at this team as they beat themselves. And that's the frustrating part. That is the most frustrating part about these losses is them beating themselves. Um, Rodman says, we need more weapons. I think it's time to rebuild. Well, I could understand why people are looking at it like this. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. They're 3-4, not great. How they're playing doesn't give you a ton of faith. More injuries. But I've seen crazier things. I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo go on a run. And, so that's the only thing that I think is really kind of is keeping me, holding hope on hope in the sense of not saying the season's chalked. We're behind the eight ball 100%. The 49ers, oh boy, they made it about as difficult on themselves as possible. Uh, that's why you have, the injuries. But again, it's not over. So you have to put yourself in the shoes of this organization. If it's not over and they're not mathematically eliminated, they're going to do everything they can to win. This is a results driven business. This is a franchise that has high standards and expects to be in the playoffs. And when you got this group in that locker room of veterans and some veterans who aren't going to be here next year, man, you owe it to yourself to do everything you can to try to overcome this adversity, to try to overcome these early pains of the season. And again, it's a roller coaster. This season is a roller coaster. We have a high, we have a low, we have a high, we have a low, we do a spin, we do a flip, we twist, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down. It's a roller coaster of a season. And I really don't think that this team is just going to tuck their tails and say, "Oh yeah, it's time to hit that rebuild button." I can understand how fans would think that, but again, it's multiple perspectives, multiple um, thought processes in play, and if you're looking at it from an organizational standpoint, they want to they want to get back on track. They probably feel like crap about this game, but they're also probably looking at this like, all right, we got the Cowboys next week. We get the win in the NFC. We got a bye. Hopefully, after the bye, you get Hufunga, you get CMC, you get some people back, you maybe make a trade. So it feels bleak right now, but I don't hear the fat lady singing just yet, but she's definitely getting her vocal cords warmed up. That's for sure. She's definitely, doing that me, the voice exercises to like get your voice warm. Um, so she's not singing yet. She's not singing yet, but she's getting her vocal cords warm. So again, how does this team react when their backs against the wall? Rodman says Kyle Shanahan can't beat man coverage, Trey, Debo, and Kittle. I think that this this I think this Cowboys game will be crucial in determining if the 49ers are going to be buyers or sellers at the deadline. Obviously, it felt like they would be buyers heading into this game. If they lose these two, go down 3-5, it'll be very interesting to see how they respond. I don't agree with trading Kittle. That seems like, again, a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to me. Debo, we actually got a report this weekend from Diana Rossini that said Debo's a name to keep your eye on at the trade deadline. But I mean, again, if you are a franchise who still believes you can win, how do you trade Debo with Ayuk out? That's the hardest part, unless you're trading Debo for another wide receiver. But I don't know. Something tells me that if you were really considering that, I don't know what you'd get in return for Debo. So it's tough, man. It's tough. I get it. I get the thought process. I get the emotions behind it. Um, for sure. So, but they got to do something. They got to do something uh, because with where they're at right now, obviously unacceptable. This team is better than this. Uh, I know it for a fact that they're better than this, and that's the hardest part. Is they're better than this, and they're not doing it. They're just not. They're not getting the job done. No moral victories in pro sports for teams that are supposed to be competing for Super Bowls. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how the 49ers respond. So, big couple weeks coming up. Big game against the Cowboys. I think that game determines where the 49ers are going. So, we'll see. We will see, but appreciate you guys for tapping in. Tough loss. I'll get into the tape. We'll have a better look at it and be able to diagnose a little bit better some of the things that went wrong, but a lot went wrong. We know that. So I don't know. I'm not ready to say it's over just yet, but like I said, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and the fat lady's warming up her vocal cords. She's warming up the vocal cords. But you gotta keep that mouth. So we'll see. We'll see. It's the same vibe after every loss, same vibe after every win. Roller coaster, man. Roller coaster. That's why it's just you got to let it play out. You got to see what it is now against the Cowboys. So I appreciate all you guys though. Try shaving my head. Maybe I should try shaving my beard. I don't know. I'm out of here for now. Peace.